Hi everyone, great to be back. It's Dr. Ed Bowman here. We are at class number 4. That means we've done half our program. So I want you to take stock about your journey to well-being, about your daily practices, about your choices that you're making. And class 4 is about deepening intention. Intention is making that commitment to really step up your game. It's very exciting. The mantra I want to share with you again, when people go, what do I base my food on, is fruits and veggies, nuts and seeds, herbs and spices. Have a nice day. So take a look around. Boy, this is amazing. All these different colorful grains and vegetables and fruits. We're going to have an amazing food demo with Chef Christine. She's going to create for us and teach us how to make at home a millet paella. Are you ready for that?
Hello and welcome to lesson 4. As Ed mentioned, today we're going to make a vegetable paella. Traditionally, paella comes from Spain and it is made with rice, seafood, and sometimes chicken and sausage, and it is just delicious. But today we are going to use a new grain called millet. Some of you may have heard of it and some of you may not. It looks very similar to couscous, but it's quite different. For one, it's not derived from wheat, and it's also gluten-free and has a good protein content. Millet originated in northern Africa and is still eaten there today. Whereas in the Western world, we've traditionally used it to feed animals, but now people are starting to eat it again as food. So how do we cook millet? Well, 1 cup of millet, this is 1 cup of millet, we can put in a saucepan, turn the heat on, and what I'm going to do first is toast it. Stir it around pretty regularly, and as soon as I start to smell a toasty aroma or it starts to pop, then I know that it's time to add the liquid. Now for millet, vegetable broth is my liquid of choice. I think it really adds a lot of flavor to the grain. You can either buy store-bought vegetable broth if you can find a good quality one that doesn't have a lot of added ingredients other than vegetables, but ideally, if you make it at home, it would be great if you could use a homemade one. So 1 cup of millet requires 2.5 cups of vegetable broth. I'm also going to add some flax seeds to the millet while it's cooking. The flax seeds will add to the moisture. Millet is traditionally a pretty dry grain, and flaxseed adds some nice moisture to it. Now I'm going to let it boil, and once it starts to boil, I'm going to put the lid on, turn the heat down to low, set the timer for 15 minutes. Once the timer goes off, turn the heat off and let it sit for another 15 minutes. And then you will have perfectly cooked, fluffy millet. Now while the millet is cooking, you can prepare the rest of the vegetables for your paella. This paella has so many different vegetables and colors in it, it's really fun. First we're going to start with an onion, and I'm going to show you a really easy way to dice an onion. Now first, before we start chopping, the proper way to hold a knife. Your wrist should be somewhat relaxed, but you need to have a really good grip on the knife. The top of the knife should be in line with this part of your hand, and your fingers and your thumb should be wrapped around behind the blade. No finger on top, like that, so you have a really strong, steady grip. Now, how to dice an onion. I've sliced an onion in half, and now I will remove the skin, leaving intact the part of the onion that has the little furry bit on the end. Remove the skin, or if you need to remove a layer of the onion, that's okay too. Sometimes it doesn't always last that long, but you can get some great onion underneath it. My knife in one hand and my onion in the other. I place the edge of the onion parallel to the knife, and I'm going to slice perpendicular horizontally across the onion a few times. The more times you slice across, the smaller your dice is going to be. And then we're going to do the same thing vertically down. You need to keep a good grip on your onion so that all the parts stay together. A sharp knife is also very helpful for this. And then place the knife down on the cutting board and slice. You have uniform, even-sized pieces of onion. Uniform-sized pieces of onion are important not only for the way that the dish looks, but also cooking time. So they can take the same amount of time to cook, and each bite of the dish will taste the same. Now, I'm going to demonstrate how to cut a bell pepper easily, and also so we can create uniform dices. Hold the knife perpendicular to the end of the pepper and cut off the edge that has the stem on it. And there are a couple different ways to take out the seeds, but one way that I like to do it is to put my knife in the middle and just cut around, and the seeds will come out the main bulk of the seeds will come out quite easily. And you can slice the pepper down the middle, and it's easiest if this is done in quarters. Now I will take out the rest of the inside and the seeds. Be sure to get the seeds out because they can become bitter while it's cooking. Now I will cut the pepper skin side down, lengthways in matchsticks or julienne cut, and then place the matchsticks very closely together and cut them lengthways into perfect squares. And there you have very uniform pieces of pepper that will look beautiful and also cook evenly while you're doing it. And you can either cook the paella in ghee, which is clarified butter. Clarified butter means that it's butter that has the milk solids removed from off the top. Ghee has a very nice, nutty, rich flavor. It will create a very rich, flavored paella. So that is my favorite fat to use. You could also use olive oil. It'd be absolutely fine to use olive oil if for some reason you don't want to eat ghee. It would yield a different flavor, but it would still be just delicious. In the ghee, I'm going to saute the nicely diced onions. I'm going to let them cook for a little while and the sweetness come out. Then I'm going to add some garlic to the pan. And I like to add the garlic when the onions are almost done and just let it cook for a little bit. You have to be careful not to burn the garlic. It only takes about 30 seconds. Now once our onions and garlic are sauteed and they're soft and very aromatic, I'm going to add some carrots, nice bright orange carrots that have been grated to the mixture. I'm also going to add green beans and some diced tomatoes and some red peppers. Mix it all around. Look at all that beautiful color. We have orange from the carrots, green from the green beans, red from the red peppers, some white from the onion and garlic. It's really turning into a beautiful dish. Now I need to let those cook for a little bit so they become soft. I personally like my green beans and my peppers to still have a little bit of crunch. So it really only takes about 2 to 3 minutes because they're going to continue cooking when you add the rest of the ingredients. Now once that is done, we are going to add the finished millet. It doesn't need to be cool, it just needs to be cooked. And now we're going to add the parts of the dish that will really add some aromatic flavor and some great health benefits. Some green onion, some chopped green onion, They add a really nice but gentle zing to any dish. Some nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is a form of yeast that has been designed specifically for nutritious purposes. It is packed full of vitamins. At Bowman, we call it a booster food. And when paired correctly with the right dishes, it adds a great flavor punch as well. Of course, I'm going to add a pinch of salt. This is a large pinch of salt. There are quite a few vegetables in the dish. Vegetables have a very high water content, so most likely the dish will need a fair amount of salt, but be careful not to oversalt it. We're also going to add some apple cider vinegar. Now we're adding apple cider vinegar to balance out the flavors. We're adding some acid to balance out the fat and to cut through it. It's not going to taste vinegary, or it's not going to taste too acidic. It's just adding balance. And then finally, one of my favorite things to add is curry powder. Curry powder is a mixture of turmeric, cumin, fenugreek, oftentimes pepper and cayenne, chili peppers. After we've added a little bit of curry powder, I'm going to mix it around again pretty thoroughly. And then I'm going to put the lid on, make sure my heat is off, and let it sit for about anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes, just so the flavors can mesh together. Now here we have our finished dish of our millet vegetable paella. The colors are really vibrant and the flavors are really bold and intense. This can be eaten as a snack or a light meal, but you can also add seafood if you have time to cook it, perhaps some chicken or sausage if you have time to cook it as well. But if not, if you're on the go or you just want to eat leftovers for lunch, you could add some goat cheese, perhaps some yogurt, or one of our favorites are pieces of smoked salmon. The smoked salmon also adds the beautiful color of the pinky color of the salmon. And there you have it, the vegetable millet paella that is just delicious.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this smells and tastes so good. What I'd like to share with us is the concept of pairing a beverage with a meal. Right here I have green tea. We've all heard about the beauty of green tea, the health benefits of green tea, cancer protective. It's also thermogenic. Thermogenic means it helps metabolize, helps burn fat. Also the seafood, the salmon, tremendous for our metabolism. So by taking a vegetable dish like the millet and the vegetables and adding the curry powder, the curry has terrific benefits. The fenugreek is a little seed in the curry powder. It helps blood sugar, insulin sensitivity, higher metabolism, less conversion of carbohydrates to fat, more conversion of carbohydrates to energy. The turmeric, unbelievable plant. It's a little root, looks like carrots and ginger had a baby and out came turmeric, a little orange root. Very flavorful, very great for anti-inflammatory, where those aches and pains are, swelling, turmeric works. Turmeric's the key ingredient in curry powder. The peppers stimulate digestion and metabolism, and there's other aromatics in there as well, sometimes coriander or cardamom as well. So this is a beautiful dish. What I ask you is, what's your challenge of the week? Do you have a challenge in making this? If you wanted, you could make this dish with brown rice. It would work very nice. Using the millet gives you a whole new opportunity of cooking with gluten-free grains. So your challenge is to have some paella, make your own homemade paella. It's a party dish, it's a celebratory dish. It's a great dish for weddings or birthdays or just any time you want to have friends and family over. And then find some way to garnish it the way we did and serve it. So make your commitment and keep them and keep cooking and keep eating for health. We'll see you next class.